Boom. Hey, internets. Had a good question from Earl Hustle. Commented on another video of mine. So I read everything you guys write. I'm reacting to everything you guys write. If you guys DM me on Instagram, I've been really good at committing to getting back to everyone. Earl said, how many designs should a person start with when they're making t-shirts for their clothing line? So my response to Earl was that I've actually answered this question several times, and I've made probably 3 different videos on it. I've had someone comment that, damn John, you make this video all the time. So here's what I'm going to do. As you see entitled, it's going to say, how many t-shirts do I start with in 2018? There's a lot of different kinds of subscribers on my channel, just like with any YouTube channel. So some people are here kind of casually, and I would urge you to subscribe. I hope I'm not putting all the work out so I don't get something back. It's a small thing to ask you guys to like, share the videos if you think other people will get any kind of value from it. But subscribing would really help me so I could understand who I'm talking to. But I'm going to label this 2018. Maybe I could just do it once a year if the part of my subscriber base, or the people who are watching the video who aren't subscribers and just casually watch a few videos might catch it, then maybe I'll do it once a year. So on that thread, Wise Minds Clothing, shout out to Wise Minds Clothing, they actually answered him with the answer that I give in every single video. So if you're watching this for the first time, I cover everything in terms of launching a clothing line. So we're talking about sales, design, marketing, product development, brand management from scratch, and I've worked with several multi-million-dollar companies. And I've owned my own screen printing shop. So how about that for a resume to get word from this guy on YouTube? But depends on your budget. Okay, so I get people who say, hey, I'm starting small, I have $10,000. Other of you are watching and just heard that and your jaws are dropping because you're in high school and you're starting with, like, you and 2 friends are chipping in to have $300. And you can definitely get shirts made, or if you want hats embroidered, if you're starting with hats, or maybe you're making a woven label to put on beanies and hats or something like that. Whatever first product you're starting with, it's totally possible to start with just enough money to make the first product. I did a video about putting together a pre-order campaign. I'll put a link to it here. But start with whatever budget you have. So if you have $1,000 or you have $10,000, you first want to put together a budget. Okay, now most of that money is going to be allocated towards production. So I use t-shirts and screen printing because it's the most common thing. Once you find your logo or your logo tee or whatever first design that you're coming up with, figure out how many you can do by doing the math. So find a screen printer. Hopefully you could find 3 to 5 of them. And then what I would do is start with just a number that you could use as a reference to get the pricing together. So I like to use 100, and I'm just using 100 because it's a clear number. Obviously 100 gives you clear numbers as to how each screen printing shop compares to the next one. Also remember, screen printing shops are blue collar work. So it's just like an auto mechanic shop. There's a lot of bad ones. There's some crooked ones and shiesty ones. And there's really good ones, really hard working, honest ones as well. Also, they're growing. They're trying to grow. So you fall into some kind of totem pole line of importance versus their big customers. Or maybe they do screen printing for a high school that gives them orders steadily throughout the year. So remember that as well. So they're growing. So when they give you their turnaround times, like, we turn around in, let's say, 10 working business days or 12 working business days. I mean, keep all of that in mind when you're evaluating what shops to use. So if you whittle it down to like 3 different shops that you want to start with, then go ahead and quote. And what I would do is get it on email so you can have a running record of it. But say you want to do 100 shirts, I'm using this as an example, you can say, maybe their minimum is 36 and maybe another shop's minimum is actually 12. And when I ran my shop, we wouldn't go under 170 something, 178 or something, whatever a case of t-shirts were, we didn't go under that. But your smaller shops and your garage shops and your startup shops, might accommodate you all the way down to 12 pieces for one design, but they're gonna have all the same charges for everything. So whatever however they do their charging of fees. So there's gonna be a couple things like screen setup might be one thing, the films is going to be another thing, and so that's a whole nother set of videos. So once you get the quote, so let's say what I would email is 100 shirts, one color or two color. Maybe you do a 2-color front and one color for the neck. You're pulling out the labels and you're doing a neck print, a printed neck label. So that's going to have the size. It's going to say yourbrand.com and your Instagram or whatever it is, and then the information that would replace the tag, right? So you have a printed neck label, that's one hit, and then you have something on the chest, that's a 2-color hit, let's just say, and you're doing 100 of them. And I would email the 3 shops and say, hey, how much would it cost to do 100 shirts, a 2-color front, and then tell them what color blanket is, also tell them the kind of blanket is. I've done a video on this. But the absolute cheapest way to go is if you get a wholesale permit and purchase your blanks directly from whoever you prefer. So say Next Level is your blank that you like to use, or you're going with a basic all style, or I mean literally there's a million, all the way from like crappy Gildan, like low tier Gildan stuff to like not American Apparel, but he changed the name and relaunched to it. Los Angeles Apparel. Anyways, there's a whole universe. Go on tshirtforum.com or just go ahead and enter into your search t-shirt blank. You should get a million companies. As you guys know, I have ongoing media going on with Next Level, so I love them. So if you purchase your blank, then that doesn't go into the equation. If they're purchasing the blank, they're gonna put a service fee on top of each blank. So if you want them to do it, then put that into the quote as well. So 100 shirts, 2-color front, 1-color back, just as an example, and figure out what price they shoot back for each one of those. Also evaluate the time, their turnaround time that'll take to get back. And then I would keep 3 in tow just so you can test your designs on each shop to see how they do for you. Each one is going to do different. If you give them the same exact Illustrator file and design, it still might come back a little bit different. The tonation of different things will be different. The hand, meaning the feeling of the plastisol print on the shirts, can be different depending on what they're printing on, the actual machine they're printing on. Also their technique. If they got a guy in there who's a craftsman and has the best hand ever, they could do competitions for this. It truly is a craft. So it could be really rough and really thick and viscous, or it could be really smooth. And then that's if you're using plastisol. Don't want to get too deep into that, but there's other alternatives for inks and dyes and things like that. However, that's what I would do. So quote with 3. And then once you figure out what that price is, you have a working number, go back and figure out what your budget is, and then, take whatever a good number is. Like say you can sell 20 of each shirt or like 50 of each shirt. Figure out what that number is going to be, get that quote, and then divide that by how much money you have in your budget. I would set obviously some money aside, especially if you're starting from scratch, to make sure you have enough to just start the website and pay for other ancillary things, any kind of business license. Depends on how from scratch you're starting and how serious you're going to do it. If you're just putting out shirts, you could probably put like the whole budget on shirts, and if you don't want to come out of pocket and you're going to sell online, then you want to keep a pocket of money just for shipping costs that will get reimbursed. Or, if they're paying via credit card and you're getting all that money up front, then you could use 100% of it into production. Okay? So, hope that helps. That's how I would begin with however many items you can start with. Start with your budget. That's going to tell you how many items you can start with. And like I say, with the beginning of every brand, is flipping. Turn that product into money, and make sure you get proof of concept for your brand, and then go towards the next step of expanding. Hope that helps. Follow me on social media when you get the chance, at John Phenom for Instagram. Follow me on Facebook as well. I'll be cross-promoting a lot of things and doing live. I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.